Is the recording on? Excellent. All right, so I call this August 9th meeting of the Planning Commission to order. Any changes to the agenda? All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, excellent. And I would like to introduce Debbie Cloninger. She is our newest member to the Planning Commission. And then minutes. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, looks unanimous. On to new business, subdivision, Amore Estates.
Good evening. I am Marion Ray with York County Planning. Let me see if this thing is on. It is. All right. Our preliminary plat for tonight is Amore Estates. And this is in the, promise it worked, southeastern section of the county. It's not working for me, Diane. There we go. Southeastern section of the county. It's about 21 acres, and it is zoned RUD. They're proposing 16 lots and a new road, Empyrean Way. Yeah, it's working. All right, this preliminary plat that was submitted. It looks a little bit different than with the preliminary plats you normally see. The circles are wells. They're not trees. There are the rectangles that are side by side are septic systems, and then there are smaller rectangles that kind of get lost in there. Those are the homes. So it's a little bit different than what you normally look at, but it's 16 lots. You can see Empyrean Way kind of meanders through there a little bit to a cul-de-sac at the end. It does have an odd shape at the top. It has a 50-foot extension up to Rowell's Road. And then along Rowell's Road, it has some challenges, including this. Help. Here we go. The Amore Estates had to go before the zoning board in order to get a curb cut variance. And they were awarded a curb cut variance of 50 feet from the ZBA last month on July 8th. The ZBA did have some conditions on it that with the curb cut variance of 50 feet, all adjacent lots to Empyrean Way shall be provided access to the improved road. And this new road, the Empyrean Way, should be within 50 feet of another curb cut on the eastern side of Rowell's Road, the same side of Rowell's. So you'll notice here, the orange line is where Empyrean Way will approximately be. The red line shows is basically 100 feet long. And this is an estimate. This is me doing it on PowerPoint. You can see on the left side, the mobile home park there has a curb cut that is very close to the proposed Empyrean Way. The developers have worked with the mobile home park. They will not be using that driveway. The developers are, at their own expense, are going to close the driveway for them and provide access onto Empyrean Way. So that curb cut is not a problem. The house on the right side, the current owners had a handshake agreement to access onto Empyrean Way and to void their driveway, but now they're hinting they might be selling the land. So ZBA decided to give them the 50 feet so that if the new owner wants to use access onto Rowell's, they still can, but they will also have access onto Empyrean. There are a couple of neighbors to the south along the new Empyrean that will have access to the road provided by the developer. So it's not behaving for me at all, Diane. Thank you. All right, findings. For number one, the site will be serviced by private wells and private septic systems as indicated on the proposed plat. So the lots meet or exceed the minimum square footage of 1 acre for RUD. And then since it's 2 acres, each lot will need, less than 2 acres, each lot will need a DHEC permit stating that it will meet requirements for DHEC. And then number two, single-family residential is an allowed use. The comprehensive plan does show it as industrial, but the area is zoned RUD. The industrial behind there is the new Indy plant, and that is all vacant land behind them. It was timbered, regrowing timber, it doesn't appear that New Indy will expand too much farther into this area. So because it is zoned RUD, they're doing 1 acre lot sizes. It is acceptable for the area for the zoning. The density of it is going to be 0.76 residential units per acre. And also a tier 1 TIA was completed, and for the 16 lots, no mitigation is required at this time. Number 4, the development is bounded to the northwest by Rowells Road. SCDOT maintains that and has worked closely with the developers about the curb cuts and all the access. And this is a low-density style development, so it doesn't require internal sidewalks per code. And open space and buffers. This one came in September of last year. It's the same month I started. I remember this, I've been here since the beginning on this one. So no open space is required due to the initial submittal before the February 1st deadline of the new open space requirements. And other applicable zoning and subdivision code requirements, they did have to go before ZBA for the curb cut. They haven't been approved for curb cut variance, which was the only thing that was holding them back from coming before Plan Commission per staff. So we do recommend approval for the plat. The only conditions that they had were on the variance for the all adjacent lots to be accessed. So we decided we didn't need to add it on to this one as conditions. So they're already the conditions. Do we have any questions for staff?
There's a statement in here that says the minimum lot width is 50 feet. You got an acre lot with a 50-foot width?
On a cul-de-sac, yes, sir.
We do?
Yeah. At the end of the cul-de-sac, there are several that are, the minimum for curb and gutter is 50 foot on a cul-de-sac, and they do meet that.
Any further questions of staff? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion that we approve this plat recommendation as recommended by staff.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? All right, that looks unanimous. On to item 2, AME Inc. I'm sorry, ma'am? Oh.
All right, this is case number 2108 for the rezoning. AME Inc. is the applicant. Nate Pierce is working with AME Inc. 1955 Luckadoo Road in Fort Mill, tax map. There's 2 parcels, 71405 and 06. It's not. Okay. So the applicant is looking to rezone 3.5 acres from RD1 to ID. They want to expand their existing property that's across Luckadoo Road for the storage areas of crane equipment and machinery for heavy construction. The existing property is on the opposite side of Luckadoo Road, at the corner of Luckadoo and Coltharp Road. Okay, there it goes. Here's a vicinity map just showing the 2 parcels for rezoning. Aerial showing the previous use of some kind of maybe a landscaping company. It's not operating anymore. And you can see AME, their property on the east side of Luckadoo Road. Nothing here. Zoning, so there's some RD1 and some RC1 in the area. There's also RUD adjacent to the property. Across the street is the BD3 where the AME is now. And so the request is to rezone. It's a different zoning, has to do with the buffer requirements. That's why they're going to ID. The land use plan is I-77 corridor employment. So that's open for any kind of employment. Next. The proposed site plan showing There's a new building that would be placed there, a gravel area for storage, fencing, parking and such. Thank you. Didn't know if my finger was. So we're recommending approval. The comprehensive plan designates the subject as I-77 corridor employment. That is typically to attract target industries that have regional or statewide importance for transportation, distribution, manufacturing, all those kinds of uses along I-77. This particular property is somewhat consistent with the comprehensive plan, being that it is an employer and more of an industrial kind of use. However, the size and location would limit the use of the property for a regional or statewide employer. Next. Also, the surroundings make it poorly suited for residential development under the current zoning. The adjacent properties that are owned by the Coltharps, they're zoned residential, but they're associated with the Coltharps, which are the owners of the landfill next door. So, any questions?
Okay, were the people that live there currently, were they notified of this? There is
Radius that we notify. What, do you know what that?
I don't have the radius that I actually circulated to, but it would be a minimum of 500 feet
Okay.
or a minimum of 30 properties.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear.
It's either 500 feet or 30 properties, whichever.
Okay,
And they're notified for the public hearing, so not for the planning commission meeting, so they'll get notification later on next month, or this month, for this, for the actual public hearing in September.
oh, okay, because I did see that there would be a public hearing. Okay. Because there is quite a bit of residential on past the land. That there's about 5 houses down on the lower end of what, I live close by, so I rode down there just to see. So that was my question.
Okay.
Any further questions for staff? Do we have a motion?
I motion to be approved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, looks unanimous. On to item 321-14.
Okay, so this is rezoning 2114. Terry Wilson's the applicant and property owner. This is on Highway 321 in the Clover area, tax map 362085. So the applicant is looking to rezone approximately 10 acres from UD to RUD1. He wants to build a house on the property and possibly have horses and livestock. Here's the vicinity map near the intersection of Jim McCarter and Filbert Highway. Next. The aerial, it's mostly vacant. Next. So the zoning still has some UD with some commercial property to the north, but you have primarily residential, single-family stick-built homes in RC1 and RUD districts surrounding the south and west of the property. Comprehensive plan says rural residential is appropriate for this area, so RUD 1 is appropriate in the rural residential zoning. Next. So we recommend approval. It's rural residential comp plan. So that's a rural character, low density residential, agricultural homesteads, animals. So the requested rezoning supports the comprehensive plan. Single-family home with horses or livestock is consistent with the rural residential designation. Any questions?
There are no questions of staff. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, that looks unanimous. On to the tracking sheet. Were there any questions or comments on the tracking sheet? we don't have a pre-submittal, or is there nothing coming up, or did it just not make the packet?
We stopped doing pre-submittal meetings when COVID started. And we had not started back for that.
Okay.
For that reason. We do now is actually sketch plan reviews. And so instead of coming in together and meeting with us, we allow folks to upload and to evolve any kind of plans, and they can get, comments back from reviewers. It's working out really well that way. So will probably take place of pre-submittal meetings in the future.
Okay,
It's
great.
all sketch plan.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I know.
I put on pants and shoes.
Good, man. Moved. Oh, down on the salute? Oh, man, you got to come down and hang out with me.